Transformers, the last movie. Oh wait, no, there's a post-credit scene. Molly, dear sweet Molly, I am sorry for what is about to bombard this bedroom. I know you got sensitive ears, but the people, they need to know. So, I'm sorry about this. What was this film? Oh my god, I don't even... I'm gonna try to stay as calm as I possibly can for the sake of you guys and anyone that may be standing around you as you're watching this review, in case you don't have earbuds on, because, you know, some of you just roll that way. Speaking of rolling, now I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Where to begin with this movie? For starters, I'm gonna let you guys know I don't have a single good thing to say about this movie. So, the majority of this review, honestly, is going to be a giant rant. Warning, I may get really heated, so there may be some language in there. I'm sorry, it's just, I am so frustrated with this, I can't hold this back. So, fair warning. Also, another warning, this is a spoiler-heavy review, so if you don't want it being spoiled for whatever reason, but you probably do, so you won't waste your money on this movie, because it is so freaking terribly awful. Okay, for starters, let's just start with the beginning of this movie. For the first 15 minutes of this movie, I forgot this was a Transformers movie. All it was just a bunch of slow-motion shots of a bunch of knights and people fighting for reasons. And I couldn't ever tell who was who. Like, you have these two sides going at each other, but everybody looks the same. And they never, like, tell you or you know, visually show you or anything, oh, this is this person, this is the other one. I guess the ones that look like orcs from Lord of the Rings are the bad guys, and then the ones that look like normal knights that would be on Earth are the good guys? Okay, and secondly, Merlin in this movie, oh my god. The humor is just one of those typical Michael Bay humor things where it's just action and explosions everywhere, and then you just got this one little moment where it's just like this guy that's like, ooh, I'm drunk. Oh, I think I'll take another one. And it spends like freaking 10 seconds on just him going, I don't care. And then he gets up to an alien spaceship, and this entire time you have Anthony Hopkins narrating this entire stupid, long, 20-minute intro to this movie. Merlin walks up to this alien ship that just nobody else has happened to find before this, because it's in a giant mountain, and somehow a mountain grew over a spaceship in that fast of a time, okay? And he begs the knight to help them. So the knight, rather than helping them, is like, here, have this staff that it's my size, but I'm going to shrink it down to human size, and you can wield it, but I'm going to wield it with your DNA. That way only you and your descendants can conveniently wield this staff. And by only you and your descendants, I mean you and any other Transformer out there. So, yeah. Okay, let's move on with this movie. By the way, I'm sorry about the hair. I was trying something and it didn't work out. Just roll with it. Okay, so let's move along. Okay, so we come back to Chicago. You know, from the trailer, that big shot of the stadium with the crest spaceship thing and the stupid annoying kids. They show up and they're like, oh, I'm gonna get a souvenir and all this kind of stuff. And then Isabella Moner, or whatever her name is, comes out of the middle of nowhere and saves these kids, and it's like, come on guys, let's go hide under my Transformer home, which is that one that you see her going, I'm not leaving you, in the trailers and stuff. Yeah, he was like, had concrete over his back to act like a thing, because Transformers are just hiding out in Chicago where the government knows there's Transformers. Whatever. So that's her home, because her parents were killed in the Battle of Chicago from the third Transformers movie. And these kids show up, and she takes them into her Transformer home. The Transformer's like just laying there, and they live up under it. And then the TRF, they never even explained to you what the TRF means in this movie. I can't even think of what it would mean, but it's basically the government people that want to kill the Transformers because all Transformers are bad, and you know this showboat. Anyways, so they start shooting the thing, and in like 5 minutes, this dude is dead, and she starts crying about it, and I'm just like, I don't care. His name is Canopy. But where the hell was he this entire time? You say his name, you act like he's going to be a thing, and then you blow him out in like less than 2 minutes of him being in the movie. And then out of fucking nowhere, Mark Wahlberg shows up. Just drives up, saves the kids. I'm like, don't you live in Texas or something? Why are you in Chicago? And then like Bumblebee comes jumping out of a wall and shoots these things that are like freaking ATSTs from Star Wars. So they start blowing shit up like normal, and Bumblebee's the only one to be seen in sight. And after all the action's over with, Hound then rolls up and is like, I guess my invitation was lost in the mail. But you don't do anything after that. You just show up and nothing happens. You're just like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to transform after everything's happened, I'm just going to flip my gun out and load it, and I'm here. Okay, this is a rather big spoiler, but I told you guys this was a spoiler-heavy review. Before I watched this, I watched a few spoiler-free reviews just to get an idea of what I was getting into here. And I kind of had some hope for this movie. I wanted this movie to do good because I did not like Age of Extinction, which was the fourth movie or the one before this. It was terrible. And I had heard that when you figure out who the Last Knight is in this movie, it's going to make you really mad. And it turns out to be Mark Wahlberg because this thing that he picks up out of an alien ship from one of the knights or something that was never explained where that dude came from in a spaceship. It's like this disc thing, and it just like attaches to him. And the whole movie, this thing is like just covering part of him here, and there's an entire fucking scene where this thing's just like slithering all over him, and it goes down in his pants, and whatever her name is, the Oxford professor teacher lady thing that's British and stuff, I don't care. She was like, oh my god, it's so hot, I want to get inside your pants right now. And the thing's slithering down there. We can figure out what it does if you wanna. And I'm like, what the fuck, you guys were just like, you guys didn't care about each other 5 minutes ago, and you're like, oh, for the sake of plot, I want to get in your pants, buddy, just because that little robotic thing is turning me on by going down your pants and slithering all over your abs that you didn't have in the last movie. Marky Mark, come to me. So, let's progress a little bit further. So, we get to the part where Anthony Hopkins has now successfully gotten Mark Wahlberg and the English teacher lady together at his family's castle or whatever, and there's a tank transformer there that has robot dementia, dude, and he transforms, shoots one fire at Bumblebee when they're walking to him, and I'm like, why did he just shoot at them? He knows that Mark Wahlberg's character, Cade, and Bumblebee are coming to see Anthony Hopkins. And Anthony Hopkins is standing right here, and this tank transformer is right behind him. He just transforms and blows a shot right next to him. And I'm like, what? And Bumblebee's even like, what the hell, man? And then he transforms back, and you never see him again. He never shows up ever again in this movie. But Hot Rod is in this movie. And I was really excited to see this character. But when he showed up, it made me so angry because they gave him a French accent when he is Anthony Hopkins, one of his Transformers that are just buddies with him. They're not like he's an Autobot, but in none of the other 4 damn movies does Hot Rod ever show up. But he's been like protecting Anthony Hopkins, all these years, although that's what he has Cogsman for. You know, the dude that's like the size of a human that doesn't transform into anything. And they even make a point about it in the movie why he has a French accent. It's just because he likes it. On the note of voices, you guys may have seen a clip on YouTube by now about Bumblebee getting his voice box back, and he ends up standing up and he talks like Siri, and he gets all aggravated about it. Well, then he just pulls out his voice box. He pulls the voice box out, so he's back to talking through the radio. The whole fight scene with Optimus Prime and Bumblebee lasted 2 minutes tops, maybe? And the way it ends is Bumblebee can magically, for the sake of plot, talk in his normal voice that Optimus Prime hasn't heard since Cybertron fell. And that's cool and all. I would have been okay with that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, he gets his voice back in the moment of triumph to save Optimus Prime. But for some reason, that, like, dials Optimus back out of the spell of Quintessa. So he's no longer evil all of a sudden just because he heard Bumblebee's sweet, adoring voice. And then, like, 30 minutes later, Bumblebee's talking back through the radio. He's not talking in his own voice. And then 15 minutes later, at the end of the movie, he talks in his normal voice. I'm like, what is happening? Does he have his voice or doesn't he have his voice? But back to Hot Rod. There is a sequence in some dialogue that Anthony Hopkins gives when he's explaining this to Kate and the English teacher lady. That's what I'm going to refer to her as. That he has this picture of a character on the wall that looks like Bumblebee, but gray. And Cade was like, that looks like Bee. And Anthony Hopkins was like, but it is. Bumblebee was in World War II shooting Nazis? What? And not only that, but when it shows the scene, Bumblebee arrives, and then Hot Rod arrives right behind him, and they transform and start shooting up all the Nazis and crap at this Nazi base in World War II. And I'm like, there's two things I have wrong with this. Bumblebee has been on Earth since World War II, at least, at most. And then not only that, but Hot Rod was working with him on Earth. But Hot Rod wasn't in any of the 4 other godforsaken movies. Why didn't he help get the Allspark? Why didn't he help with the whole thing in Revenge of the Fallen? Why was he not in the Battle of Chicago? Why was he not in the 4th movie? At the end of every freaking Transformers movie, Optimus Prime does some stupid message that goes, I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to all Autobots. According to this movie, there have been Transformers on Earth for freaking ever. There were 12 plus 2, 10 plus 2. There were 12 Transformers that were the knights that went alongside of the 12 knights of the Round Table, because coincidentally Quintessa had 12 knights for some reason when she created Cybertron, and for some reason they rebel from her and go to Earth and do nothing inside of this spaceship that has just had a mountain grow over it. And then Merlin meets up with them, brings them to the Knights, where there happens to be 12 of them, so it's like you have a buddy for each one of the Knights of the Round Table, which makes no freaking sense. And then they transform into that giant dragon transformer, which was pretty cool. I'll give it that. That was kind of cool. That, you know, they all transform and make this giant dragon thing with 3 heads. I'll give the movie that. That was okay, at best. Speaking of Quintessa, the reason why I said they just betray her for reasons is because she created Cybertron, apparently. And one thing I don't understand is, at the end of the last movie, Optimus was going to find his creators, not creator. And in the beginning of this movie, he's like dead, floating in space by Saturn or Jupiter or something, and magically, in a flip of one cut, he's right over Cybertron, and he just smacks the crap down into the surface of Cybertron, and instantly he's already like on his knees with his sword in the ground, and he's already alive. I'm like, why was he dead in space? How did he get to Cybertron that fast, just floating in space? Reasons, I guess. But anyways, he shows up there, and he just walks like 5 feet down this corridor, and Quintessa's just right there, chilling on Cybertron. Just chilling on Cybertron. I'm like, where the fuck were you when Cybertron was coming to Earth in the 3rd Transformers movie? This is the 2nd time Cybertron has just magically come to Earth. But what I don't understand last time is in order to get Cybertron to Earth, they had to have these 4 pillars that made a portal in the sky that then in essence brought Cybertron through a portal to Earth's atmosphere. In this movie, Cybertron just fucking nails its way through the cosmos to Earth in 3 days. Because the entire movie, the government is like calculating, oh, the world's going to end in 3 days. We don't know why, but there's a planet that's just barging its way right towards us because, you know, it was hiding behind our sun the whole time. No. But Quintessa is just chilling here, but she's not been mentioned or anything in any of these other movies. And Optimus Prime just goes in there, and he's already, like, angry at her. I'm like, why did you walk in here just angry at her, like, trying to punch her and crap? Why? And she's just like, for Cybertron to survive, Earth must die. Why? Oh, because guess what? This is a big spoiler of the whole movie, but I want you guys to know this because this pissed me off more than anything in this movie. There's this and one other reason that I'll get to at the end of this review. The biggest thing that pissed me off about this movie is the entire damn time throughout this marketing, you saw Cybertron splitting off into all these things and stuff, and everybody was like, Unicron is in this movie. Unicron is the bad guy. Whoa, this is going to be awesome. We've been waiting for Unicron. And there's even a Transformer that turns out to be just like Quintessa's bitch on Cybertron. And he can transform down into like 12 of them. But when he goes big, he's got the giant horns just like Unicron looks like. So they made a CGI character that looks just like Unicron. But he's not Unicron. Spoiler, the Earth is Unicron. That's why all the Transformers in all 5 of these movies have been coming back to Earth for all these years. It's because Unicron is Earth. It's 2017, I'm assuming, when this movie is taking place. In reality, we have the technology to know what lies beneath our core. I'm pretty freaking sure that in 2017, those freaking people, someone out there would know that there is a transformer that is our planet underneath the core, or underneath the surface. And even in this movie, at the end of in the climatic battle, they even mentioned, they were like, the core is cooling down, and when that happens, we all die. And I'm like, how does a transformer cool down? What? What? And also, this entire movie is about Cybertron coming to Earth for reasons to make it come back to life, because there is this stupid ship that comes out of the ground, and the staff of Merlin that Knight gave to that Knight Transformer gave to Merlin could pull Cybertron back together. Okay, so the staff can pull Cybertron back together and reform it. If Quintessa was the creator of Cybertron, and she had all this immense power, and she's still chilling on Cybertron, why did she not do anything during the war that took place on Cybertron, even after it blew up, The knights took the staff and fled. Why? They could have given Quintessa the staff, and Quintessa could have rebuilt the planet. She was only evil in this movie because the knights left the planet with the staff for reasons, gave it to Merlin, and she was coming back to get it to make sure that Cybertron could be rebuilt. And for some reason, Unicron is the enemy of the Transformers, and that's why they want to destroy the Earth in all of these movies so bad. But that plot detail is only told in this movie, because this is the other thing that pissed me off in this movie. This is the second thing. This is now the 5th freaking movie in this franchise, and there have been 5 different artifacts in these movies that have had something to do with rebuilding freaking Cybertron. And I don't know why people just don't get it in their heads that Cybertron is not happening anymore. In the first movie, it was the Allspark. In the second movie, it was the freaking space pyramid thing. In the third movie, it was the pillars that would bring Cybertron to Earth and somehow humans would fix it or something. In the fourth movie, it was the seed. And in this movie, it's Quintessa with a staff. And the only person that can wield it is the little teacher lady because she's a descendant of Merlin. But then every other Transformer can wield it. So this entire time... Let's get to the Decepticons of this movie. I somewhat enjoyed the way the Decepticons were used in this movie because the TRF, the government people that are trying to get rid of the Transformers, actually team up with Megatron to get to Cade to get the staff. But he doesn't have the staff. So why were they after... What did he... See, that just hit me. In the movie, they were going to find Cade because he had the staff and the government wanted the staff to secure it so that Optimus could not get it. So they enlist Megatron to help them get it, and then they were going to betray Megatron at the last minute. But they had a bunch of Decepticons in lockdown, and Megatron wanted some of his team members let free before he would do this. So the government let some of the Decepticons free so they could go and get it from Cade, but Cade didn't have it in the junkyard, and he didn't even know the teacher lady at the time, and they didn't even know where it was. Which brings me to my next point. I know I'm getting sidetracked, but this is a messed up movie. The staff was buried with Merlin. When Cade and the teacher lady find the staff is buried in Merlin's coffin with him, but the coffin is in the heart of this giant freaking alien spaceship from the Transformers that is lodged in the ground deep under sea. How did his coffin get locked up under the floor of this ship, alien spaceship, under the ocean in medieval times? I don't know. How was that coffin put there? Why was it? They even showed a scene, like a flashback, of the Knights of the Round Table carrying Merlin's coffin like they were going to bury it, and they were on land. How did it end up in an alien spaceship in the ground underwater? How? I don't know. Convenience. And even when they do find it, it's a wooden stick. And Cade picks it up and he's like, "Are you kidding me? I could have just cut this from a house or something." And then the girl picks it up, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was the staff. When she touches it, it starts like transforming away and it becomes the real staff. And I'm like, why was it a wooden stick this whole time? Because if it's only the descendants of Merlin can see it, it was buried in Merlin's hands. Why was it a wooden staff? Okay, so I've got all that out of the way. My third biggest thing that has angered me more than anything about this entire franchise is pardon my language, but this is just honestly how frustrated and angry I am about this. In every freaking movie, Michael Bay seems to pull any and every Transformer he wants to out of his ass and just shoehorns it into the movie. Okay, in the fourth Transformer... Okay, no, let's back up to the third Transformers movie. The two little Transformers, Wheelie and whatever his name... Brains, I think is what his name was. You know, they were piloting the big ship and then they crashed it and they died. They did not show up in any of the rest of the movie. They were dead. And then Brains shows up in the fourth movie because they've been doing experiments on him and hooking him up to Megatron's head. But he didn't die in the last movie, but he wasn't in this movie. And then Wheelie, who supposedly died with him in the third movie, wasn't in Transformers 4, but then he was in this movie. Because why not? And then in the junkyard, this is where all these Autobots are hiding out. You have Grimlock there, sure. And you have the Triceratops Dinobot there. Where's the Spinosaurus? Where is the Pterodactyl? Nowhere. They don't show up in this movie. I guess they just decided to not get paid for this movie because they didn't show up. And then at one point when all the Decepticons were attacking the junkyard and stuff, trying to get whatever it was they were trying to get from Cade, all the Autobots are evacuating, and you see this one Transformer that just transforms up, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Where did you come from? What's your name? Where? And then you never see him again. He doesn't go with him. He just transforms right there beside him, and nope. Not in the rest of the movie. Nope. No. Let's talk about some other things like that. Barricade was in this movie, and I was angry about this from the first news that he was in this movie. I loved how he looked and everything. I thought it was a really cool design, all that kind of stuff. I'll give them that. But Barricade was in the first Transformers movie, and he died. He freaking died. If I can find it, I will be putting the video up on the screen right now. He died in the first movie. He did not show up in the second movie. But then he showed up in the third movie. And again, if I can find it, I'll show you where he dies in the third movie, in the Battle of Chicago. He does not show up in the fourth movie. And then he shows up in this one with a completely new design, a completely new voice, and just, he's alive somehow. Somehow. But you know, Megatron can die in... Oh my god, he dies in every fucking Transformers movie, and it does not matter. But yet, like, Starscream, nah. They even, like, pulled up his head out of, I think they said they found his head in, like, New Mexico or something? And I'm like, why the fuck was his head in New Mexico? He died in Chicago. What? Okay. And speaking of that, there was this, like, traveling merchant kind of Transformer that had all this junk on his back. And they never once said what his name was. And I know I can look it up and find it. And I think I already read what it was, but I forgot what his name was, and they didn't even, like, say what it was. I can't even think of what Transformer it was. But... let's get on to some more Transformers. Drift in this movie. Yeah, I think that's his name. Drift? Yeah. The one that's like the samurai character. I was okay with his color change in this movie. It fits more the samurai kind of character. But the problem I had with was the fact that the car he transforms into is mostly black with a few little red lines for details. But when he transforms into a robot, he's completely red. How does that work? I guess they didn't have a red version of the car that Michael Bay decided, oh, I'm going to use in this movie, and people won't be able to tell whenever he transforms that he shifts colors somehow. Okay, whatever. You do you, Michael Bay. Whatever. Now, let's get back to the kids in this movie. The kids show up, they disappear, but Isabella Moner's character, she stays. She pops up all throughout the movie. And at the end of the movie, I'm like, what the hell was she in this movie for, other than to whine, complain, and cry, and say she stole away on this aircraft that's going into the middle of a war, and it's like 21,000 feet up in the air, and she's got nothing on her, and she stoles away in this thing, and nobody knows she's in this aircraft until they're already all the way up in the air, and then she reveals herself, and Cade's like, what are you doing here? She's like, you said we were family, and he's like, I didn't mean come with us, and she's like, yeah, this is a bad idea. I'm like, no, fuck, it's a bad idea. Did you not think about that before you got on the freaking aircraft? What were you gonna do? What were you gonna do? What? Nothing. At all. Okay, to end off this review, before I get any more heated, because there's a lot more wrong with this movie, but you guys get the point by now. Halfway through the marketing of this movie, they decided to randomly throw in, see how this all ends. It's been building from the first Transformers movie. Come see how it all ends. This is the last movie. Oh, no, it's not. It's not the last Transformers movie. Oh my god, it's not the last Transformers movie. Oh my god, it's not the last Transformers movie. I'm saying that out loud. It's not the last Transformers movie. Oh my god. Okay, so my birthday, as of recording this video, was yesterday. But I didn't get to see my girlfriend yesterday, so we did all of our birthday stuff for me today. And she took me out to eat, which was really nice of her, and I love her for doing that. And I told her I wanted to go see Transformers. Yes, I said that. Don't hate me. I said I wanted to go see Transformers because I did not understand what the frick the trailers were saying this movie was, and I still don't know what the frick this movie is at all. I'm sorry I wasted her money. I love her to death. I will never put her through this ever again, because this movie, this franchise, this whole garbage bag of trash is not over. By the end of this movie, I have never, like, I've been to all the Transformers movies, and I've never been as frustrated as I was in this movie. I have never sat there and, like, huffed and gone, oh my god, this is so bad. Or, like, when they revealed that Unicron was Earth, I've never gone like, seriously, how do you get Transformers lore wrong like that? Unicron is not Earth. Unicron is supposed to be like Cybertron. Bigger Transformers fans than me, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure Unicron is Cybertron. Or something like that. It's another one of the Transformer planets. But I know it's not Earth. And that, God, it angered me. Especially when they made a separate Transformer with the exact Unicron design. But whatever. When this movie was ending, Optimus Prime did the stupid, I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to blah 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 blah. Because Cybertron is now just chilling in the Earth's atmosphere, so now the Transformers and humans come together because they gotta now rebuild both of their worlds together. Yeah. And he starts sending off this stupid message, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the fifth damn movie he's done this stupid message to that makes... I don't care about it. And as soon as the credits started rolling, they just rolled really weirdly. Like, it just showed all these ships going up to Cybertron, and then it cuts to a view from space looking down on Earth and Cybertron, and the ships are going up to Cybertron, and then it just seamlessly rolls in to shots of a desert, and it says directed by Michael Bay. And I'm like, oh, okay, this movie is finally over. And my girlfriend, she was taking her time to get up and everything, and I was up and out of the seat, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I want to get out of this movie right now. I can't be, I'm so angry, I need to get out of here. And before she could stand up, a post-credit scene came up of this woman walking across the desert. I'm like, what the fuck, am I watching The Mummy again? What is happening? Because in this movie, there's all these horns that are just coming up out of the ground in various places around the world, because back when it was Pangea, those things formed a circle, and in the middle of it was Stonehenge. Well, that didn't happen this time, but all those horns are just still sticking up out of the ground, apparently. And this random dude that it's like, am I supposed to know who you are? Who are you? This random dude walks up to the horn and he like almost touches it. And then this random weird like Indian or Egyptian looking lady is like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. He doesn't like it. And the dude's like, who doesn't like what? And she's like, that is Unicron. And I can tell you how to kill him. And then like her face jitters and makes it look like she's Quintessa. And then it ends. And I'm like, 1, who the hell is this dude? 2, who the hell is this woman? And 3, there's another Transformers movie, and now it's supposed to be the thing about the next movie is supposed to be Unicron? Wasn't that what this movie was supposed to be about? There was a post-credits scene to this movie, but they said for the 4th freaking time, this is the last movie. Oh my god. There's gonna be 50 of these things. My cat's gone. She left at some point during this review. I don't blame you, cat. I don't know where you went because my door's shut, so you're somewhere in here hiding. Guys, I hope this enlightened you because I don't want you guys to go and waste money on seeing this garbage movie. I cannot express to you how bad this movie is. I have seen a lot of movies, even old movies that are really bad, even ones today that are really bad. And I'm only 19 now, and I have never watched a movie that I was like getting so angry that people next to me knew I was getting angry. I have never been in a movie where I saw people walk up, get out of their seat, bring their kid out of the movie theater with them, and never show up again. There were people leaving this movie. It was so funny, but I was like, okay, I gotta stick through this because I gotta review this for you guys. You know, my 8 subscribers I have right now. We gotta start somewhere. I have never been in a movie like that. And I didn't even like the last Transformers movie at all, really. But I at least still found some entertainment in it. It at least made some sense to a degree. This movie, oh my god, it was so bad. It was so bad. And, like, there were so many inconsistencies to this. It's like every one of the Transformers movies are standalone movies, but they're not standalone movies because they have characters that come through all the different movies, but they decide whenever the frick they want to show up in these movies. I'm like, why? Why? So I hope you guys enjoyed this rant, really, because it was more of a rant than anything. The only good thing I could find in this movie is I did like Cogsman in this movie. He was the best part about this movie. He was really funny, actually, and he had a lot of good character moments, especially with Anthony Hopkins when they're like driving away from the bad guys and stuff, and they're like Anthony Hopkins is flipping people off, and Cogsman is like, I'm getting so stressed, I'm driving and all that. Like it was a lot of fun. I'll give it that. That was the one thing I kind of enjoyed about this movie. That and Bumblebee. Bumblebee was pretty cool too, but it was just because they're trying to set up a Bumblebee movie, which is gonna be the next Transformers movie. And then they'll do Transformers 6, Kill Myself. So, yeah. And without further ado, that's my review. If you've seen the movie, comment below. Let me know what you thought. Feel free to go wild with it. If you enjoyed the movie, that one person out there that enjoyed this movie, please comment down below. Tell me why you loved it. I'd be glad to sit here and talk to you about it. And, you know, try to tell you why you're probably wrong. But, I mean, everybody has their opinion, and I'll respect that. But so far, I've not seen anybody that said this movie is good, because it's really not. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice rest of your day. Peace.